Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Perfect Balance Strad class, a place where conscious minded and like minded individuals are guided towards the fulfillment of their true potential through collective reasoning. We have with us Okavango, the Rebel Guru, Bingi, Teacher Ma'at, aka Yaga, and we have a very special guest, Brother Dulani. How the item?
Rise up.
Give thanks.
Give thanks.
Devices,
Greetings,
devices,
greetings.
devices. Me like the
Yeah,
greeting there.
man.
Rise up you mighty
Rise.
race.
Yes, I.
You
Glad to
can
be in the
accomplish what
presence,
you will,
of
you
the
know?
item.
Yes,
Anna,
man.
Anna.
Greatness,
Sorry.
great energy, you know? Give thanks for life
Out
and the
there
mighty
put in
life
your
giver, you know?
out there put in the work, man.
Yes, sir, which is right.
Yeah.
I want to remind everyone watching to like, share, and subscribe. Remember that we're on the road to 1,000. We're on the road to 1K. Once we get to 1K, we have the potential now to go live where we can make these discussions interactive and we can have those people watching, viewing, and participating and being a part of the discussion as it unfolds, as opposed to after. Remember to hit the notification bell, because when you hit the notification bell, as soon as we upload a video, you're notified and made aware that there's a new Trad class. So you have to make sure you're present, because Brother Yaga is responsible for doing the registers. And if you're absent, there's gonna be consequences.
Yeah, and punctuality is a cause for concern, so we have to adjust the punctuality. We're going to have to sanction the item. No overnighting
Yes.
the night before. We're going nice tune.
No reaching.
Okay. All right.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And the ancestral
So
work we are doing, so yeah, we have to fit.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Before
I'm punctual.
before we go into the discussion today, however, right? I would like Yaga to really give a very in-depth introduction to Brother Dulani, because he's new to our viewers. He's new to a lot of the members of the Trad class. So just give an introduction to let us know his background. Tell us a bit about Brother Dulani, and then we can go into the discussion.
Yes, sir. Give thanks, Brother Dulani is a brethren that we go way back before we know we were real blood. So he's been a very good friend of mine before I knew he was my family. Then Brother Dulani has always been the person we see interacting with literature from some of our master teachers and highlighting some of the Black history before 500 years ago that we have no idea about. So we've always stayed close to him and follow his journey until we find ourselves on the same track. Brother Dulani is a very talented Pan-Africanist. He's an author. He's wise with his words. He puts his words together. So we can say he's a poet also, doing the literary work based on our ancestors, past and present. He's a graphic designer, he's a businessman, and he's at the heart of African reparations in the UK. Brother Dulani is a stalwart in the community and always give his service, paid or unpaid, to the community. So he's a visionary in the community doing the work that needs to be done without fear.
Yes, sir.
Welcome,
Give
Brother
thanks,
Give
Dulani.
man.
thanks.
Great energy. It's always
Greetings.
a good energy when we really get to link up as the item, because iron sharpen iron, Iron
Yes,
sharpen
sir.
iron. I saw it come down. You see it? So they said this. So this today we are in the mode of reparations, and we want to speak with a leading expert in the field, namely Brother Dulani. He's also a vlogger, a YouTuber as well. And what I'll do, I'll allow him to speak on his YouTube section as well, so that we can, because we're making the purpose of the Trad class is to inform our viewers that collaborative effort is needed. We need to collaborate. So we're going, the Perfect Balance Strad class is a part of Brother Dulani's work. And Brother Dulani's work is a part of the Perfect Balance Strad class. There is no separation between. It is one work. So we all have to come together in collaboration to make this a success. Brother Dulani, Grand Rising, Hotep.
Greetings, my brother. Greetings. It's an honor to be
Okay.
here. And I greet you. I greet the Perfect Balance Chad class principals, them, and they are principals, in the honorable, and also the audience, in the honorable spirit of our great and mighty African ancestors. And it is an honor to be here, and I hope I can give what I've been given, and I can share what I've been given. I'm an advocate. I'm a student, I'm a learner, and I hope today we can give some clear thoughts and clear thinking on the issue of reparation. So yes, my brother, I look forward to interacting with each of you in a healthy, in a very enlightening way, you know?
Give
Yes, and
thanks.
also, you mentioned about the media, the social media, you said to explain. Yeah,
Yes,
I
sir.
do have a channel, a YouTube channel called Brother Dulani. It's Clear Thinking with Brother Dulani, but on YouTube it's Brother Dulani. On TikTok it's Clear Thinking with Brother Dulani. So you will see, we try to bring clarity to the issues facing our people today. So yes, give thanks
Good.
for that, my
Give
brother. Give
thanks.
thanks.
How
Yes,
the
sir.
Mhm.
man them subscribe to, I subscribe. I hope
I
them
subscribe.
subscribe.
I
Respect, yeah,
Them
subscribe.
man.
subscribe to the
Do
Yes,
channel,
sir.
yeah, man.
subscribe and help it to go. It's a young channel. It's an old channel that has been revitalized. Cause it's sit there for
Yeah.
about good 10 years
Yeah,
now.
man,
Nah, lose.
some nice things are
So
going over there.
yeah,
So
yeah,
subscribe
yeah.
to it
So
and we should be the
it's
Nothing
land.
beat
young.
the time.
It's
Nothing beat the time.
yeah,
Nothing stop the time, you know?
yeah. It's young like how the podcast young. We're all young, and the exposure hasn't come to the channel yet. 'Cause most people don't even know about it. So
Mm.
it did it. I'm just push it same way until that time come and we just rise
Real
it up.
energy, man. Give
Yes,
So
thanks.
so brother Delano, let's jump right into
yes,
the
King.
discussion. But we want you like tell the audience, get some background where you're from, upbringing
Okay.
and what or you reach to being a activist in reparation of a reparation.
My journey started. Our journey started on the great continent of Africa, but we came through the Middle Passage, the transatlantic kidnapping, you know, of our people. So I emerged on the concentration camp of Jamaica in the Caribbean. We call it Afrobean because we feel say a place they need to rename. See them say Caribbean, which is the land of the cannibals. We're not cannibals, so we are trying to correct certain thinking about how we are describing ourselves. So this is a
Mm-hmm.
part of the reparative process. So we think, so I was born in the Afrobean, in the islands of Jamaica. And I'm born into a black world where, my brother and sisters who listen to this podcast, I born come see my family. I use 3 stone for the stove. And we have got look wood fire to cook the wood. See, I born come see the light in the house was actually a
A
buckle in a
lamp.
thing. A
Yeah,
lamp.
back a
When
torch.
we buckle it, when we lamp it, when
Back
we
a torch. Me
cook.
have one too.
Yes. Yeah, so I born come see that as a reality. Me born come see. Me have to get up for look wood. Chimney under the bed for dash for a morning time. And them thing them grow up come life them a born come see.
Remember the
And
plantation we live on,
yes, yes. So
And it's
so
a
was
real
one step up.
plantation.
Yeah, it's one step out of enslavement, King. When we really look back on it, one step. At this time, man, I got a moon, King, and we live like cave people, on the islands, But we
Mm-hmm.
never even realized, see, we have to chop down the wood land them to make wood to make fire so we can eat and them thing there, We have to go far to get water to cook. See, so we can provide. Our survival was, matter of fact, food was the number one objective of the day when I was born. See, not even clothes was as important as food. But
Mm-hmm.
grew to overcome a lot of those obstacles. See, because the mother and father was, were very progressive, very ambitious, and they fight through the system, see, to make a way for the children them. And back in those days, we have many children, and I had many brothers and sisters. So, um, I was blessed to go school. You know what I mean? I go school barefoot as a little youth. See it. I have to walk on tar, I have to skip and hop on the road. 'Cause time that the tar them just was melting. And morning time you get up and I go to school, tar melt. You have to skip and hop through tar to go up to go to school. So that's the world, me man, come see. And I was blessed enough to be able to come through that and migrate, get a good education abroad. Started in Jamaica, get a good education abroad, and became exposed. Now, my exposure to the liberation struggle of our people was during the anti-apartheid era. Because remember, at this time, I had no reference to our history. I had no understanding of Africa. I didn't understand who I was, where I was, none of those things. It's only by watching the media and watching the news and hearing about this man called Mandela in a prison, and me start listening to the songs them, and so me start to search, and then me start read, and then me start read, and me met some good youth along the way too, some good teachers. See, I met one youth named Godfrey Cheng Shu. He was an African Chinese. And the man walked me into the library one day and introduced me to a book called The Struggle is My Life by Nelson Mandela. And I picked up that book, my brother, and that book set my brain on fire. Like never before. We never even know some people when was going through this. And we start reading, and we start reading the autobiography of Malcolm X. See. And from that's from my brother, I haven't looked back since. Then from John Henry Clark to Dr. Ben to Chancellor Williams and on. And then, I became a soldier for the liberation of African people. See it. So that is the backdrop to my early journey into this struggle, my brother. See it. So,
Yeah, man.
yeah. Mm.
Give thanks.
Give thanks. Yeah,
You
man.
Brother
mentioned
Dulani,
One
so
thing,
what it is do you do? What it is are you doing? What is the movement? How is the approach itself done towards
Well,
reparations and what you do in the community?
okay. Well, in the last 10 years, well, I mean, I'm living in the UK at the moment, and
Brady, brother Dulani.
yes,
Brady,
King.
brother Dulani. Excellent question, Bingy. But I would like, for the benefit of the viewers,
Mhm.
if you could tell us what reparations is before we
Well,
talk
yeah,
about what the movement
yeah.
is doing. Please, brother Dulani, for the
Okay.
benefit of
Well,
the viewers.
reparation, and that's a big subject. The basic understanding, the basic understanding of repair is a repair, to repair a damage that was done.
So
So
repair the damage.
basically, we have to acknowledge first that there was a damage, and then we examine the damage, and then we examine what are some of the measures that can be taken to repair this damage. So the reparation movement will be looking at not just what others can do for us, but what we need to do for ourselves, because we need to acknowledge that we are a damaged people, and there are some steps, there are some responsibilities and duties upon us that we must take independently of anybody else to repair this damage.
Correct.
And we must charge our leadership with this responsibility as well,
True.
because they have been ducking this responsibility of truly addressing the need to repair our people.
True.
So yeah,
Very good.
so I hope that clarifies that. But we can go now to the more technical definition in law, in international law.
right?
If you want to, go into that
Yes,
right now, or we
yes.
can gradually go into that one.
No, go into that. Go into the
Oh,
laws
well,
and
Your question, your
and
question,
just
Bingy. What
flow
was it again?
into it. And just flow
Okay,
into the question.
okay. Well, in law, and in international law, and in humanitarian law, to deal with human rights law, reparation is actually a right to a remedy. It's actually a statute in law itself. The whole idea of reparation has been collocated, and there's 5 main principles that reparation address. And I think we need to get the first one out the way, which most people around the world will be familiar with, which is compensation. There's five, but the
Yeah.
number one that everybody is familiar with is compensation, which means to,
Compensation.
yes, so you compensate for the damage that was done. So if I was in a car accident and you hit my car and my foot get broken, my car get mashed up and me lose my job and my can't work. So you would look at a financial package now to really compensate the person for all the damage that they've been through. See. But reparation go beyond just compensation. It goes into rehabilitation because you could be psychologically damaged, socially, culturally, ideologically damaged in our situation with our history being stripped away from us and our identity, our language, our ethos and all our traditional custom was stripped away from us. So our psychology needs to be rehabilitated. You understand? So number 2 is rehabilitation, and then
Yeah.
number three would be restitution. And restitution, which way we would have remartiration, repatriation, and restoring the people to where they were before you came in contact with them. Before you hit that card needs to be restored to where it was before. Everything needs to go back to where it was. So all the artifacts that were stolen from Africa, the resources that were stolen from our people need to be returned to our people. So
Yeah.
restitution covers that. And those people who want to return to Africa and land need to be returned to people who land was taken from. So that will come under restitution. You know what I'm saying? Return of land, artifacts, people, everything that was taken away.
Yeah.
That's restitution. And then you have another one, number 4 is guarantee of non-repetition. So we non-repetition. That means we need some guarantee, either military or some type of legal and international guarantee that this will
Binding
never happen.
agreement.
Binding, yes. And triggers. We have trigger button where we can know say these are triggers that will be activated, self-executed in the event.
Once the red line is crossed.
Exactly. So those are guarantee of non-repeated that our people would never be visited with this type of atrocities ever again in the history of mankind going forward. So that is what we want to be codified in international law and local and national law, that this kind of disrespect and dehumanization of our people would never happen again. So that is number 4.
Number
And then,
4, number 5 now.
And then number 5 now is satisfaction. And satisfaction deal with now a resolution that we can live with for the next 7 generations. So we are saying some people are advocating for like apologies, monuments to be built in honor of our ancestors.
Those doesn't go far enough. Those don't go far enough.
Well, 7 generation. Well, 7 generation is what they call the conservative. And most people say it's going to take at least 7 generations to repair the amount of damage that was done to our people. You know what I'm saying? So the next 7 generations. So these measures that we put in place will be able to pass on to 7 generations to help to heal and repair our people.
So these are the 5 treatments, right?
5
for reparation.
Yeah, for reparation in international law.
Right. Okay. So what we're going to do, Brother Dulani, we're going to go through them one by one and
Yes, sir.
explain what each one should look like. So we're going to begin with number 1, which is compensation. So we're going to explain like what compensation should look like for African people.
Right. Well, compensation, there are many figures. There's many calculations been taking place by many experts. And this is a realm now where we will need to gather the social scientists them and the mathematician them who can make calculation based on the length of time of our enslavement, the amount of damage that was done, the amount of wealth that was extracted from the labor of our ancestors, the amount of land that was stolen, the amount of resource that was stolen, And then we will make our calculations, which will be in the trillions. I just wanted to throw that out there so nobody can come disrespect us. Like me see the Trevelyan family disrespect us, come talk about them, I give 100, 100,000 or something like that. So
Yeah, so
after they enslave over 1,000 of our ancestors, those are disrespect. We don't even want to entertain those type of disrespect. But what we're saying that we have social scientists who can make calculation, who can look at the facts, and then some of these studies have already been done. But a lot of the measures you see going through, like the Congress in America, and even here in the UK with the all-party parliamentary group, is to go is to research and to make recommendations as to what figures that we will be looking at. And I've seen like figures up 15 trillions or even more. Depends on who is doing the calculation. But we will have to convene the experts, and the expert will be tasked to
Our
make the
experts.
calculation. Our experts, definitely. I mean, we can use other mathematicians. Mathematics is a science unto itself,
The numbers
So,
speak for themselves.
yeah. So we have none to hide. So we can bring in experts from other groups if they have the expertise that we're looking for, who can make the
Peer
calculation. But
review.
predominantly, but predominantly, it would be African leading this effort. That's another very good point, my brother. Africans have to be at the forefront of the repairing of our people.
yeah,
It's
man.
not a
Have
job
to.
where other people are going to come and repair us. We are going to repair ourselves, but the resources that we need to repair ourselves has been stolen from us, has been extracted from us, and we are demanding and willing to fight to get to secure that resources back into the hands of our people to do the repairing necessary. See, so that is where the battle is to get the resources into the hands of our people to do the job. Because we know that resource exists. There's right now in this world, they say it's over 450 trillion dollars of wealth in existence in this world right now.
So,
There are
brother
some
Lani,
people, brother Dulani,
sometimes,
see?
Yes, King.
There are some people who got hung up by how the money or the compensation is supposed to be distributed. As we have pointed out,
Mm.
that is not the only meaning of reparation. That is just one aspect of reparation. What would be your advice to those people who is getting hung up about the compensation and its distribution?
Yes, now that has been a very wrangling issues, and I've heard it in many discussions. Who's going to get the money, and is it distribution to? Is it going to be everybody going to get a cut a check? In America, you hear them army talk about cut the check. In many places, reparation they talk about this pure money, just cut that check. Not about the repairing of the mind and the damage and the culture of our people. It's all about cut that check. But if we are going to cut a check, there will have to be a process. And I think the consensus would be some type of financial institution that will have to create an institution. See, and several of these institutions in many different localities to be able to distribute this compensation to the people them who most need it. You know what I'm saying? We have to begin now to start to create a database of our people and to well, in the UK, for instance, they're calling for an all-party parliamentary commission of inquiry for truth and reparative justice. I know it's a long thing, but in this commission they would hold this commission, and people will be invited to come and give testimony. Individuals, organizations, state entities, non-state entities, and in this process now, African people will begin to explain what has happened to them and their family and the damage that's been done to us. So during this process now, we can begin to catalog the level of damage and to catalog the people who are definitely should be even considered first in line to get compensation. The most vulnerable amongst our people, the most destitute, the most impoverished. See, the elders them who are, you see them on the street of Jamaica people have to come out and feed them at their time. You know, see them big man and woman have to line up in a line for food. You know,
Yeah.
see, you know, when I watch it, my brother, it's very touching. But it's encouraging for those that there are people out there that are willing to go cook for them at their time and carry it out to go feed them. So the homelessness, those who are mentally challenged, we have to definitely make sure resources reach those people first. And then, you know, say, in terms of rebuilding the schools, you know, a lot of resources are going to be necessary for that. You see, changing the name of the people, providing the database, providing the ceremonial services to make these things possible and efficient and very accessible. The money will need to be used to carry out the re-Africanization process. But, you see, here go now, my brother. Compensation cannot be separated from rehabilitation.
Yeah.
And it cannot be separated from restitution.
Yeah.
Because all those issues require money. You understand? So as we begin to prioritize and begin to look into how best to rehabilitate the people, how best to restore the people, how best to build a sense of satisfaction, you realize that money runs through all those dynamics. You see, so that has to be coordinated. Because
And
if you just
a
give
next thing,
yes, King.
Freddie Brother Dulani, and next
Yes,
thing what we like to point out in the reasoning too, is
yes,
that not because we say compensation number one,
yes.
I
That's
Yeah,
don't
where
that,
want
we
us to
go.
get it twisted to think that is the
It's not
The first
order.
thing.
yes,
correct.
because
Yeah, yeah.
they
No,
think that
Yes,
have
is
to
it no
happen
order?
yes.
Is it no
before.
order?
No,
Is
Right,
no
no
and
order?
order.
them
That's a
have
Yes,
to
yes.
be
I
simplistic.
just,
before
That's a
we get to
yeah,
simplistic
that.
thinking and reasoning.
That's the is the
I glad. Thank you very much, my brother, for bringing that out
no
because it wasn't meant to be no hierarchy. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
No,
man.
no.
I just the
The
five
reason why
treatment. I just the five
the,
treatment.
the reason why I bring that out first because I know that's on people's mind first.
Pop your
That's why
mind
when
first.
they think about
Everybody want you
reparation,
about the money.
Money,
Everybody
where
want
the
you about
money
the
go?
money. How
Where
the
money.
the
money I
money
go?
go? Yeah. So
But
that's why. So glad, my brother. People, please, not reparation. These things are not in no order. There's no
no,
hierarchy. They're all simultaneous. They all have to be done in simultaneously
together.
together.
Yeah, man, is it
Together.
together?
And if we were going to put it in an order, brother,
Yes.
rehabilitation would have to be number one.
Thank you, my brother. Thank
Yeah.
you.
For some people.
Yeah.
It's a holistic thing. It's a holistic thing. The healing, the repairing of our people, and it's a delicate job. It's
Yes,
not a
sir.
Yeah.
simple job as we may think, because a lot of people are still in denial about our history, about what happened to us, and some of us may be reluctant to even acknowledge that we are damaged, you know, and some of us are so damaged that we may be incurable, that it may be irreversible because they may see themselves as a reflection of Eurocentric culture and don't
True.
want to be associated with the African self and may very well reject reparation. And we're
That's
going to
true.
give
So
those
Brother
people.
Delani, so
Yeah,
we are at number 2 now. So we're talking about rehabilitation,
yes.
right? No, right. So go right into
Yeah.
to
So
explaining
so
what
so so rehabilitation would take the practical step now to deal with setting up institutions where our people can come and access to start to reconstruct their history, reconstruct their identity. We need to do a DNA tracing of our people. You know, say we need to start reconnecting our people to their roots. You know, see, we need to start having interaction between Africa and the diaspora. And also, reparation is also due to Africans on the continent as well. And the empire that enslaved us in the in the Afro-Benin were also involved in our enslaving our brothers on the continent in Africa
Continent.
mm-hmm.
True.
and a colonization. So, so the whole it's a global process. I don't know if many people have heard about the Marshall Plan after World War II, that the America and Britain came together and created this great Marshall Plan to spend billions of dollars across Europe to rebuild Europe from the shambles of World War II. You know, see,
Okay.
it was flattening, it was
Yeah, I think
devastating.
I heard of it.
Yeah,
And they brought
there
people from
was
other
no
places.
economy. Yeah, and just flood money and billions and resources and equipment and technology, and they rebuild Europe. So you can't even see if you go to Europe that you know how war it take place. So we
You
know these things
remember,
are capable.
Remember, these people have been fighting among themselves for years, but one thing they unite on is to
Yes.
fight and keep down Africans.
Right. So rehabilitation, my brother, will have to deal with the psychological, see, the
Mm-hmm.
cultural rehabilitation. So me personally, my brother, I advocate starting in the elementary school, in the basic school, and
Mm.
start there and start to say let's redesign the
Have to
curriculum
start with
as
the children.
brother Yaga, the children them, and start to know even the whole aesthetic, the beautification of the school, the whole infrastructure of those schools have to be rebuilt,
Redesign.
restructured,
Mm-hmm.
redesigned. You know, say,
Yeah.
and we have many great African artists and great African visionaries who we can call on, who need the work too, and they will be tasked to redesign our school system. So when our children walk through the door, they can feel a sense of themselves.
Pretty,
You know,
pretty, brother
see,
Dulani.
yes, kid,
Just to show you how significant a point this is, right? If
yes,
we
I,
look at something like going to the supermarket,
yes,
right? The supermarket is laid out in a particular way that just by entering it, it promotes your shopping and buying. And when you go
yes,
to any of the stores, the layout, the design, everything about it is set
yes,
up that it psychologically it
right,
promotes you to doing what they want you to do. So in the event of schools, the
yes.
design and layout should be set to such that it promote psychologically, it promote teaching and learning. So it's a
It is
very important point,
systematic.
Brother Delan.
Yes, yes. So these are some of the type of measures that need to take place
Mhm.
from the basics to the elementary to the middle school and to the university level. So
Right.
we have to structure it where our people now will, first of all, the purpose of the education would be to Africanize, to get our people aware of who they are and also tap into the genius of the African child
Mm-hmm.
and to know the focus the African child on repairing African people's problem, to fix
Mm-hmm.
African people problem. Because
Right.
you cannot build a society because of
Other
Microsoft,
people.
Elon Musk problem and solve
Yeah.
other people problem. You have to focus the society to solve the society problem. So
Mm-hmm.
you focus the education system now to go out there to solve the problem facing our society. So every country will have situation that's unique or similar that they need to go and solve. So the education system will be geared specifically towards that the issue that we are faced with. And that's what we have not been doing. We have not been planning our education system, our curriculum to deal with repairing the individual, the first thing, because remember, say the mother and the father them don't know, see, the mother and
Yeah.
father is they're deep into the Abrahamic faith, they're deep into religion, and that's their view of the world. So
Mm-hmm.
so have to come and teach the children them and explain to them in a very sensitive way that this is the world that you're born into. But you have a responsibility, a historical responsibility to go out there and transform this world. See,
Yeah, man. Say, yeah,
and
man.
and because they may never hear this at home. You know what I'm saying? So that is
Neither in
where
school.
the greatest neither in
Mm-hmm.
school, but these will be the new schools.
Yeah,
These
but
will be the new schools that our
yes.
children will be going to. So they'll be going there, and the teachers them now as well would have to be obviously retrained. You know what I'm saying? Which require a
To
lot of
teach them.
resources. So you see all those great authors and those great historians and we read about some of them still alive, and them have many students out there. There's a army of scholars out there that are 100 times more conscious than I even breach. That we can bring these people into these curriculum to help teach us them.
As you said that,
You know
Brother
what I'm saying?
Dulani, seeing, I've realized throughout my travels, some of what
Yes,
you're alluding to is non-existent. When we look in the communities in the countryside, we don't see people farming anymore. And one thing they have to do is to eat food. We don't see anyone
yes,
taking up the trade in welding, in carpentry, and all these trade
Yes.
and skills. The younger generations are not into it. How can we change their mindset to fit into
All right.
the new dynamics of the school that we are suggesting?
Right. All right. The Ministry of Education should be working with the Ministry of Economy. The ministry that dealing with industry should be working with the Ministry of Education. So the Ministry of Agriculture should be working with the Ministry of Education. It has to be integrated. So our school system is designed in a way where we have assessed our society and we see where the gaps are. And we program our school system to fill those gaps, to teach our children the importance of agriculture, and applying all the scientific method to build the best agricultural society that we need. And even industries, even the tower block industries, them Kingston too, they have issues as well. Our children need to be aware of how this society is set up, and where the shortfall is, and what role they can play in repairing this damage across the board. So all these ministries have to be integrated together, where they are communicating the problem. See it, and we start to address the problem. You can't wait until they reach 11th grade, You have to start them out first and second and third, introduce them gradually.
Yeah, man.
See it.
So learn farming, them learn farming and them thing they from primary school, basic school, a plant a school. Learn how them plant a plant. If you know them thing there. Because that's the thing where kids learn, them plant a tree.
You never know when disaster may hit and all his internet is out of the way and a survival have to go to
They've removed all the technical schools, so all of those things were being offered by the technical schools and they've ripped them apart now. We've seen where, if we look at Hanover,
we have to advocate.
There was a massive citrus field in Hanover called Mount Pella. When you look over there now, it's only bush, all bush. We've been into the countryside where they plant cocoa. They've come in and they've cut down the cocoa without compensating the farmers, saying that they are diseased, but they are not dealing with no research and development in order to tackle and address the problem. They've talked about the agro-processing plant farms where they are given to farmers, but the investment for the farmers to farm are not there. So they are basically playing lip service.
Yes.
Yeah, man. We see that all over. So that was rehabilitation. So let's move to number 3, which is restitution.
Okay. I just want to land on the rehabilitation one clear statement.
Go on.
One clear statement that in the education system I advocate a strong African cultural curriculum and a strong scientific curriculum. Our children need to be introduced to science from very early.
Yeah.
Very early. They need to understand the whole nature work, how life works. They need to understand biology. They need to understand physics from very early. So that is, I just wanted to say that in our curriculum, not just culture and dancing, we have to have a deep scientific basis to it. So our children can understand the world and be able to function at any level, anywhere they go in the world, any set of a student around the world.
A lot of specialist schools.
Yes, definitely. But science has to be a core part of our curriculum. Because I think we have been shy to embrace science. I think we need to break that stigma. See, and I must say this, one of the reasons why, because our society is steeped in religion, and most of the teachers them are religiously based. So they push a narrative of Adam and Eve on our people. So the moment you start talking about science, it rubs the people in the wrong way.
They don't want to hear that.
But if you start to teach...
And you cannot teach science without having resources to do experiments and practicals.
Experimenting. Right, and sources, and teach people how to go about validating and verifying ideas. Because anybody have ideas, everybody have ideas, but are your ideas valid? That's the key. Are they provable? Are they workable? So teach our people the rigorous of critical thinking. So yes, my brother, I just wanted to close that chapter on that. But getting that out.
Yeah, man, give thanks.
Another thing. Yes, so now restitution.
Restitution, yeah.
So now this is where For me, I am telling our people this. On the restitution, we need to have a renaming, a renaming program across our countries, across our island, in every community. No town or cities, no building should be named after, no enslavers, no mass, I mean, I'm just use them kind of word on the social media. No mass murderers, no rapists, none of them sitting there. We can't name with people, with society, with communities, institutions, and roads after these
And
type of
commemorative days.
And
so,
countries, heritage
everything.
site, all
Yeah,
them thing there. Yeah, one of the most hurtful thing we look on them
yeah,
thing there and see them name of some enslaver or
yeah, yes,
some
yeah.
colonialist. You know what I mean?
And,
Can't
One
and
of the
on
work.
worst thing, man.
commemorative days
Yeah,
as well.
it's an insult. It's an insult. And you
Insult,
see
man.
and the colonial governments them have not been able to address these things. Like, they are afraid to address these things. We should have no town. We have some town at Jamaica name of a pen. I the pen them as some kid
Hey,
burn around them, you know.
some of the
You
most
see?
beautiful African place them are in some
Eh,
like the
yes,
Caribbean and
yes,
Africa, name
yeah.
of some European.
In slavery and monumental
Victoria
statue
Falls.
falls
Victoria
and
Falls.
no
How that be?
Yeah,
Eh?
yeah,
instant.
but wait, stick up in. Then we going into semantics because while we say Africa, Africa is not an African name, right? Akibulan,
But we can
right? So,
debate. No,
But
so,
even that
so,
no.
too.
so
Okay,
even that,
hold
right?
on.
Think about it,
Hold on.
in the
Okay.
case for communication, we use certain things, but
Yes.
not to take away from what the I saying, Brother Dulani, is true.
Mm-hmm.
We should not be seeing those type of names, but we always on a threshold too, right? Because then it's a
Yes.
political correctness and how we use words to communicate.
Let me
But I
address that
don't
one.
think the issue bring the pretty is the semantic of it. What we're saying is that one of the steps of reparation is that we
Reparations.
have to rename these things.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah.
So
No, no,
we see that
no,
there's an
no.
No,
issue
no,
with
no.
it.
I agree.
So we
I
have to
agree with that.
rename them.
I
Yes.
agree with that, but I'm also saying that even for us, when we use certain terms,
Mhm.
it's semantical or just for communication, right? I agree with
100%.
that because we say Africans, but we're
As
Africans.
most people understand that terminology.
That's how we communicate. That's how we
Let me
Right. We
communicate.
address
get
that.
that.
Yeah.
I would like to address that issue. Give me a few ample moment. I will address the issue about Africa because I think there's been a slight what you call it a slight flip of consciousness about the word
Mhm.
Africa, and let me explain why. You see the word Africa, the word Africa is an African word from the North African people called the Afar people. So it's not a foreign word, not a European word. Now, how the name Africa became the name Africa of the land? It is stated by some erroneously that it was named in honor of Africanus, Leo Africanus.
Right.
But the reality is Leo Africanus was not born Leo Africanus. Leo Africanus was named Leo Africanus in honor of his defeat of Hannibal. He was named Leo Africanus, not Africa was named Africa after him. But it been portrayed through history and it been repeated in history that Africa was named after him when it was the other way around. His father is not Africanus. His children is not Africanus. He was given that was a title that was given to him. And we can research that and confirm that.
Leo Africanus.
Leo Africanus. That's
Leo
the
Africanus.
popular.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah,
popular.
it's a whole history
It's
about
a popular. Yeah,
yeah.
it's a popular repeated narrative. But when you check the narrative, it's actually a reversal of what really happened. Now, to address Al-Kibulan. Al-Kibulan is not an African name; it's an Arabic name. So that could not be the name of Africa. You understand? So I think
Akibulan.
it mean the Garden of Eden or something to that term, but it's an Arabic name. So before the Arabs came in 1650, Africa was already in existence. So that could not be
But
the name. So
Dr. Ben wrote that Akibulan is the original name. in
Yeah,
all
yes,
history
one
too.
of the original names. Yes,
Yes.
but that's when it because that's you get that out of the Arab writings, some of the Arab
Mm.
historians. So, but we have to also find the source of where those things come from because Dr. Ben can only operate with the source that he have. You
Right.
understand? Every
Absolutely.
historian can only they are limited to what they have available to them at the time. And we now this Dr. Ben because Dr. Ben our great
Right. Yeah.
master
Master
teacher.
teacher.
You know what I'm saying?
Master
Yeah,
teacher.
exactly.
For real.
So we have to acknowledge that they rely on sources. And some of these sources, when you check them, you realize where the sources themselves were not based in accuracy.
Mm-hmm.
But let me say this too. Sorry, sorry, my brother. Let me say there's a ending on that point. That if we as African people want to have a plebiscite, an
Mm-hmm.
international conference to choose a new name, I am not opposed to that either. You understand?
Right.
Because I'm all about
Right.
self-determination. So we
Right.
always have to
Yeah.
leave that window open. So you see
Right.
the people who run from Africa and I run from the identity. We're not gonna make them try to box in no corner. We
Right.
let
Mm-hmm.
them know, say, listen, we know that
We
landmass and the
open
people that
for
we are
everything.
talking to.
Yes.
We know that geographical location and
Yeah.
those people. And we now gonna disconnect with from them people based on any semantics.
Yeah.
Semantics.
You know,
Yes.
see,
Just a
we're not gonna
name.
we're not gonna make semantics move away from them people. Because you hear that in a big debate, you know, the man show that in there, you know, to try to make you feel like say you could disassociate yourself from them because them are no
Mm.
African. But
Yeah.
Mm.
we want to be clear that the people them that we refer today as African and that land referred to as Africa, that's the land we're referring to. So
Yeah.
let's
Mm-hmm.
kind of no illusion about that part. If we want to have a plebiscite as Africans, the over a billion of us can get together on some kind of plebiscite and rename it. We can do that as well. So yeah, man. So
Yeah,
yeah.
Mm.
So
man.
this is why I would like to kind of crown that little point there, and
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
continue
And ready,
with
brother Dulani.
yes, King.
Ready,
Yes, King.
brother Dulani. I want to make mention in the restitution as well. Not just
Mm-hmm.
the places, but the holidays and the commemorative
So,
dates. We
right.
have you understand? Because all of these dates is like it only commemorate these things. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Yeah.
Yes,
these holidays and
and
these events,
yes,
and
my brother.
so we need to have dates that commemorate our African identity and
We have to
African
have one
heritage.
nation first, because it's not a
Yes,
people
sir.
nation, you
Yeah,
know.
But
So
that's
I,
part
I
of
think,
the
you know,
education
govern,
too, though. That'll be part of the
Right, the
yeah.
education where
restitution.
we come back to
yes,
who we were.
Mm.
That's part of the
yes.
Yeah.
education.
So we
Because
can
Yeah.
we can celebrate our
Yeah.
heroes them and our, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean,
there you
Right,
go.
people
right.
them on
So,
them
But
daily.
that's
so
the
it's
reparation. That's the
it's
reparation.
integrated. It's all
Yeah,
integrated
man.
Mm.
because
Mm-hmm.
under the process of renaming, we're gonna
Mm-hmm.
bring our ancestral name and those who have done great works on the behalf of
Mm-hmm.
our people. These
Right.
towns will be named in their honors.
After them. Right.
All this year in Jamaica we have 14 parishes. All 14 of them need to be renamed,
Yes,
Mm.
So
man.
who the hell is
Mm-hmm.
St. Anne and St. Mary
Right,
and
right.
Trelawney? Who them
The
to us?
colonizers.
They're nothing to us.
More own man devil. That more own, sir.
Mandeville, let them to go away. So we want to do so we need to have regular renaming ceremony across the island and across the African world. And we have the
Yes, sir.
historian them come and teach you significant. We have a community gathering.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, what that very vital part of that now too. The people, ourselves, our name need to change.
Mm-hmm.
We need to have ceremonial name changing and almost every Sunday we have changed name. And we need to have a database of African name across Africa available
Yes,
to
sir.
our people.
Yes, sir.
So we can go in and we can say, boy, I want the name there, I like the name there, and this and that. And that name can be identified with that family from now on. And we have technology that can piece together all those from the Smith and the Johnson and the Tom and all them things there. And say, this Johnson is now known as Okavanga from now on. And we have the
Sound good to
database,
me.
we can change it, we can go in and search. So we're not going to black out the people and because their name Smith or Brown or Johnson. We're going to
Mm-hmm.
collect the database so we can
Mm-hmm.
cross-reference in the future. See, so we can
Mm-hmm.
have a continuity. But from now
Yes,
on,
sir.
and the government now, we need to make sure the laws are passed to recognize this as legal.
Yes, sir.
And we
Yes,
make it
sir.
we have these documentation, it can be an efficient transfer of these name and titles and ownership can be transferred over to this new name. And we try our
Right.
best to root out corruption in the process.
Naturally.
Because you know
And
that the
free up
criminal mind
ourselves.
is going to always try to, yes, are going to always trying to seep in and corrupt the system. So we have to
True.
be on guard against those
To
things.
those things. True,
So
true, true,
another
true.
part of restitution is also the returning of artifacts.
Yep.
So the British Museum and the hundreds of other museums around the world that have African artifacts in it, many of those artifacts would need to be returned to their home.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them have significant spiritual and cultural significance to our people. And we need to ensure that those things are returned. And also, people who want to return land will have to be negotiated with many of those African chiefs, African governments to accommodate the diaspora returning to Africa. You know what I'm
True.
saying?
Yeah, man.
So all of that will be a part
It's
of
a part of that.
restitution.
Africa awaiting
You know, see?
creator.
Brother
Yeah.
Dulani, as you say, artifacts, right? When you think
Yes,
about it, Rome, for example, when you go to the Vatican, the most
yes,
important two rooms is the African room and the Egyptian room. You know. That is where the most people is going,
yes, I
literally,
am.
when you
And,
go to the
uh,
Vatican.
uh,
So, yeah,
and
and I've experienced
unfortunately,
it, so I know. I see.
yes,
You see
unfortunately, my
thousands
brother,
of people moving
I
through
saw
there.
an article the other day where England loan Ghana an
yeah,
artifact, then lend them for
so,
a while.
yeah,
Yeah, it
I
come
saw
from
that.
Ghana, you know,
Yeah,
originally, and
man,
them
them
lend
take it.
them back to put in a museum in Ghana for
Yeah.
like a
They
period
lent
of
to
Right
them.
time.
across
And
Europe.
I say,
Hey,
Yeah, yeah.
Right
how them people
across
sign on to
Europe.
that?
That's what
How them sign on to that?
Okavanga,
Eh?
Okavanga,
Eh?
and you say it come from Ghana, and I took it from Ghana and
Yeah,
thief
so
it.
the Ghana them TV from, them TV
Right.
got,
Take it.
Yeah.
them TV from
Yeah,
Ghana, I know so
yeah.
them a lend it
Lend it
to
back.
Ghana. I mean, I said, them a lending them own things.
These are the kind of insult. These are
It's
the kind of insult. I watched the
Yeah.
interview with
Yeah.
one of the curators of the British Museum, and what the man said. The arrogancy, the audacity of these people. You know, the man say these artifacts is best for us to keep it. Like we are better at maintaining them than the people them who own them or people who
Who
belong to.
own it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Who was
belong to it.
prepared, who was taking care of it before them come
Before
thief?
them.
Yeah,
Millions
yeah,
of years
yeah,
before them come thief.
yeah,
Yo,
yeah.
Them
think
That's
did
why
a
them
about
like
plenty
it.
right.
Because it was
it.
well taken care of.
Manifested,
You
You
bring it
understand?
into
understand?
understand the
existence.
significance.
Yeah.
They
You
understand the
can't, you can't
significance.
The
even make this up, my
Because they
audacity.
brother.
can't have it
The
around the
audacity.
people for too long.
The
You
audacity.
can't even make this up, my brother. You can't even make this up.
Yeah,
We know,
well.
Hey, but
Mm-hmm.
you know
we watch
the
it.
messed up
It's
Even,
part about
scandalous.
it is you see when him a say it,
yes,
Mm-hmm.
it makes sense to him, you know.
Yeah.
yes.
When
It's
him
Yeah,
a say
yeah,
it,
shameful.
it
It's
yeah, yeah.
With
really
really
shameful.
literally makes sense to
And
him, you
with
know, like
straight
yo,
disgusting.
face. Yeah, man, the man say with straight face, my brother. Me I say, yo, them people are not easy. Them hard. You know, see, but
Mm-hmm.
that is
alright.
that is a part of it. But
Rest in
Of
also,
peace,
I
man.
think so as well. I think there need to be a DNA bank as well,
Mm-hmm.
because the
Mm-hmm.
DNA system is very expensive. So I think that need to be covered, and the restitution
Right.
needs to have a DNA test kit available to all Africans,
Mm.
because
Yeah, man.
as
So,
the part,
brother, if we finish
yes,
on restitution, we're
yes,
gonna move on to
yeah,
Guarantee of
non-repetition.
non-repetition.
Yeah,
Non-repetition.
yeah.
yes. Now that is where we're gonna need some technology and some military guarantee. So we're gonna need to have some serious technological infrastructure in place in the African world, and some military bases and some military agreements in place to prevent this type of attack on our people in the future.
Yeah,
So
man, the
that
defense
basically
have to be strong.
cover them.
Yeah, man.
Yes, so
Self-defense, you know.
self-defense. So we have to have
Cyber
some serious
security,
defense.
same way.
Yes,
That's
everything. So,
one of our greatest issue right now, as African people, we're not having no
yeah,
defense,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So
African
Defense
country
weak.
not have no defense, and I mean, you know what I mean. So that one I think that we need to build up
definitely, man.
a strong
Definitely.
army. There's no, you know what I mean. We see the top army, I really no African country in the top army.
A
No,
You know what I
strong
no.
mean?
military.
So
Yeah,
we
man.
can't
No
defend
military.
ourselves.
A strong
Yes.
military.
And
Military.
Strong
it goes without
military.
saying
No, not at all.
it goes without saying that we need that other one they took us. Without the other one, it not gonna work. So you know what I'm
But
talking about.
then You would have to have a real shift in power.
Yeah, the Security Council level, you know, them level
Right.
get
Yeah.
off in.
A real shift in power.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, seriously,
We need
seriously. So that is
representation there, you know, proper
Yeah.
representation, and we
yes,
need to be there as
Proper
one,
representation.
not
We have
yes,
individual
representation
countries,
there.
yes.
not individual
Mhm.
And
countries.
And
We
I
need to
them
think
thing
be
they
there
know.
one and
But
speak with
Dulani,
one voice.
yes,
But I
all them
think
thing they
last
know, we
week,
talk about the army, you know. It tie
One
back
mm-hmm.
voice,
into,
one voice, one voice.
okay, me attack. So it tie back
Mhm.
into everything we are saying, you know, because we talk about the education, you know, and
Yes,
science, you know.
yes.
For create a great military, you know, you need them thing there, you know.
From,
You
from
know what I
Naturally.
mean?
really,
And we need the
from really.
compensation, and we need the money to create it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Everything come tied back into the same thing, you know. So you see
And
all of it,
the curriculum
and the
go align the
curriculum.
people
yes.
to
Yeah,
deal with the purpose at hand.
yeah, man.
Because
So
our
Yaga.
everything
children,
is one thing.
Naturally.
yes, because we need
Yaga
military
dynamic are
science.
saying so. I go hear what Yaga say. Pray thee. Yaga.
Yeah.
Are you
Yaga,
good?
your
Yo,
time,
you
you
hear
know.
me?
The Blanco,
Yeah, man, where
yeah.
you
Yeah,
hear me?
you kind of choppy still,
No,
but
I
yeah, yeah,
was
yeah.
saying that, you know, the African countries need to have one voice where we speak as the AU and we represent the view of the continent. That will give us more
Yeah.
bargaining power and more negotiating power to bargain and negotiate with these organizations in the best interest of African countries.
You know
True.
what's that? I think I would say that we need to go even a step further and create one government in Africa. I mean, a United States of Africa, a
Yes,
Hmm.
sir.
federated Africa that
And
that
and
we,
and
we
and
can look to.
African countries in the diaspora.
Yes, including, yeah, definitely the African world would have to be a part of it. Well,
Yes, sir.
Haiti and Jamaica and all others who self-identify as Africans, we should be included in
And
that.
you have a little one named Trinidad too. Don't leave them out.
Yes, don't leave them out. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. And them, man, and Diana too. You see, and
yeah.
Suriname.
Oh
You see,
The
God.
whole
well,
of
Hey,
you know,
and
so,
Caribbean.
Freddy, let me put in a
All of them,
disclaimer.
whole
Let me put
alphabet.
The
in
whole
a
Caribbean.
disclaimer. That was a reference directly to Bingi. So do not think that we are belittling any African
okay.
country.
No, sir.
It was a
No.
reference to Bingi.
Yes.
Yes, 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 definitely. We have to include all African countries
But
because
Yes, sir.
here's the thing, right? We talking about this, but that would mean we would have to have our own security in our own hands. Because even
that's
today,
correct.
Africa doesn't have a permanent member in the UN Security Council.
That's
How?
what
How is
that's
that?
Nope.
that's
How today,
that's what
in
I said.
today's
Yes.
world,
Hmm.
we don't have no seat at the table. None.
We have to have that. That we
We,
cannot have no form of so-called settlement, a
yes,
granting no
sir.
repetition without a seat at the table. Even if we have to go there as one African
One
government,
body.
you
One body.
one
Yeah,
One
it
body
body,
don't
yeah,
matter,
and
man.
but
sit there.
in
Even one
You
today's
see,
body.
world, we don't have no say,
yes,
And we the
exactly.
second biggest landmass
Hmm.
on this
Yes,
earth, and you don't
yes,
have a
yes,
Yeah.
say.
They don't have any disregard
And
and
for
look here.
Africans. Even at times when you see African leaders is presenting at the UN, it's empty. No one is there to listen to
Yeah,
them
man.
or
Yeah,
hear what they
man.
are saying.
Yeah,
The
man.
disregard that they show and the contempt that they show to us
Disrespect.
yes,
is disgraceful.
Mm-hmm.
yes.
But these are all signs that we have to develop our resources and
One
develop
thing.
what we have.
Hmm. That's
Because we
correct.
keep
Yes.
looking for validation outside
Yes.
when His
Hmm.
Majesty said that Africa's solutions lies within.
Right.
So we have to
Africa.
Yeah.
develop our thing because when
Yes.
we develop our thing and stand firmly on our thing, then
Hmm.
people cannot but respect us.
Yeah, man.
You understand? They
I
cannot
know, you know,
but
It had to be
they
on
say
a
they know. A lack
collective,
of
all right
respect,
then
you
there,
know.
man.
collective
A lack of respect, you know.
basis.
Yeah man, I
It's
just
lack
tell
of
you man.
respect, you know. So
Yeah man.
when we develop ourselves and I show say, yo, we can do this, you know, I say, okay, I
Yeah,
have to respect them, you know.
yeah man,
Have
you
to
That's
do
have
it, you
to.
know.
correct.
Yeah
We
man,
not
you
have
don't
to
have a
ask for them
choice
respect
then.
again.
You don't have a choice then. Because
Yeah.
guess what? Guess what happened now? All right, let's just use a reference, right? A simple reference to make the average person can over, so we say, right? If you want to book a 50 cent, right, for
Mm-hmm.
a concert, you cannot book him in a club that can only hold 200 people.
Right.
Him
All
not
right.
accept that booking.
No.
So when you have an African president go come and address the council and him walk in and him see 5 people, he might just turn right back out and go because it don't make sense for him to do that.
Right.
You understand?
Yeah,
So
man.
there's no
Real
way
talk.
the place of a pack till you get an African leader coming here and talk. It off the pack. You
Yeah.
understand? So at them levels that we have to view now ourselves is the thing, my lord.
But I want continue on non-repetition.
Yes. Along that line, there is there's something. You see, there's encouraging sign right now, on the continent. There is a Pan-African Parliament, on the continent who's trying to do some work along that line. So
True.
we have to also look at the encouraging sign, that things can get there, and that is their goal. That is the goal of this parliament, is to bring that about. So work is being moved. I mean, work is being done towards that effort. Just want to add that into the
True.
conversation. But
Got you.
that is the you get. I mean, the audience should be clear now what we mean by grantee and non-repetition.
Non-repetition. Okay, so we've finished with that now. So we covered non-repetition. So we're gonna go to the last but not least, satisfaction.
Yes.
The most important one.
Fifth.
Yes. Well, satisfaction
The most
is
important
satisfaction.
well, I mean, satisfaction is holistic as well. You see,
it's the most important one.
Yeah, one. I mean, some people say non-repetition is
most important.
Yeah, some people say non-repetition.
No,
I think that is the most important one before
And your second most important one, this,
Well, no, well, I want to tell you why I said this one is the most important, right? I want to tell you why this one is the most important.
Tell me.
Because it's a satisfaction now. It means to say, you see, after all the four things, and we agree and say, this is what we're going to do. If we decide to no, something missing, we have to go back to the drawing board and
fix
get
it.
right.
Yes.
Okay, so we have five most important.
satisfaction.
We have five most important. So this is the most important of the most important.
Yes, man.
And that's just a long time now.
We have to get it right. Right.
Continue.
So satisfaction now. Some people would advocate say, listen, we need an outright apology, straight up. You know what I mean? Then if you listen, come clean. If you know negotiate on good faith, nobody come at the table. You know, see, nobody come and try to justify what happened. You know, see, we have to just acknowledge what happened and say, boy, forgive. Ask for forgiveness. You can't forgive people who never ask for no forgiveness. So that's why, me, I advocate, well, apology have to come from them. We're not going to demand and tell them so they must apologize, but apology have to come. They have to ask
them
for
supposed
apology.
to have the decency to know that and honor that.
Let's see. Right, exactly. You know what I'm saying? It's more symbolic than anything else. But because them know, in a freedom law, if you apologize for your act, that means that you're responsible. But by apologizing, you're taking responsibility. Say, yes, we were wrong. What we did to your people was wrong. It was immoral. It was a crime against humanity, and that should never happen. You know, see, and as a result of that, now we're going to take these steps that you have recommended to us to take. We're going to follow that, and hope you will forgive us. You know, see. So that is where satisfaction comes, and these agreements that we will make with these people, like I said, will have to be binding for 7 generations to come. That means the next generation can't come and turn it back and redo it and all. They have to be binding so that the next generation will be inheriting. Because some of these measures would be, the resources will be gradually released. Because, for instance, if you were to put a levy on financial transaction, you can say if that 5% levy on transaction for the next 10, 15 years, you'll be raising trillions of dollars over 10, 15 years. I'm giving an example of how you would say, how would we finance?
How would we pay this?
How would we, finance this whole operation? We can say, okay, in Britain, we may be doing maybe $10 trillion a day in transaction. And if you put a local, even half a percentage levy or financial tax or enslavement tax on them, colonial tax on them, for all of the wickedness that they have done over the years. These same ruling class, these same corporate entities, they are the one who primarily responsible for the whole financing and exploitation of our people. You know what I'm saying?
You know, as
It was not just the brutality and the get off and you know the personal satisfaction of the enslavers. It was actually a business taking place on those concentration camps.
mm-hmm.
You understand? So if we compare, yes, my lord.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So if we can say, okay, we can narrow it down and say we can levy even a half a percentage, a quarter percent, whatever. We can come to an agreement with over the next 10, 15, 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
And the money from that would be amounting to trillions of dollars. You understand?
Pretty
Yes, King.
Bingy. Initially, when you in the question that you asked initially, have you been satisfied with the response, sir?
Yeah, and I would just like
Yes,
Brother
sir.
Dulani to tell us, well, Brother Dulani, your journey and what you do as far as activism, to push in
Okay.
reparations forward.
Okay.
And just
All right.
to add to that, Brother Delani,
Yeah.
just to add to being a question, could you please add like what has been the what's the word?
Gains.
Gains, yeah, the gains that you have
The
gained.
gains.
What been the progress of
Yeah.
of your work?
Movement.
I know you've been doing this for a long time, and
Mm-hmm.
what have
Yeah.
you? I mean, what was the
Yes.
progress of it? You know,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah. So to kind of like finalize the discussion on the five principle,
yeah.
there's for us in the reparation movement an understanding
Right.
that reparation is even broader than those five elements for us.
Mm-hmm.
For us, we are talking about a transformation of society itself. That these kind of measures that we're looking forward to as African people require a systematic change in the society itself.
True.
Where the whole system of capitalism will be brought into question.
Mm-hmm.
The whole colonial governance system that we've been living under will be called into question. Would need to be transformed to reflect more African modality, a more African way of governing ourselves.
True.
You understand? Based on Mahat Ubuntu. You know, see, our own grounding, our own jurisprudence based in African history and African customs would also be brought into the equation of our reparation. You understand? So I don't want people to see this in isolation. It has to be, for us, it's a transformative movement that will be transforming not just the individual, but the
Us.
society. The
True.
society.
True.
It has
Very
to be
true.
transformed as well.
Very true.
You know what I'm saying?
True.
So it's a mass movement, like none before. I mean, we will continue on the shoulders of those that came before. So I just want to kind of crown it off with that. And we had a professor named Chingwiz who said reparation is family repair, social repair, cultural repair, economic repair, spiritual repair, repair of every type. You see,
real talk.
But most importantly, reparation is in struggle for reparation is the opportunity for self-repair, for us to repair ourselves, repair our mind, repair our culture, and repair our connection to our ancestors.
Naturally.
And our view of the world. So it is that holistic thing that we're moving towards. And it's not, I don't want people to think this is some kind of utopian dream, but this is the vision. You see, because a movement will be judged based on the grandness and the accuracy and the power of the vision, not necessarily on the individual battles that you fight here and there, but on the power of your vision. And the vision is that we need a transformed society where African people can live in peace and we can develop and we can function as African people without any fear. You know what I'm saying? So that is the overall vision for the reparation movement, from my perspective. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
So yes, so we can transition now into practical activism. My primary ground of activism has been in the UK for the last 10 or so, we don't know, maybe 10 to 12 years. of activism in the UK. I've been a part of the reparation movement in the UK in a part of the mass mobilization of our people. I was a founding member of the African Emancipation Day Reparation March Committee, and our task has been to organize the 1st of Mosiah, the 1st of August Reparation March in the UK. So I was a part of that leadership, and my goal in that leadership was in promotion, marketing, and so forth like that, and any educational material to go out. So that was my main role. But the committee task was to mobilize the people and come out in the thousands, every year, see it, and to get them out. We normally march to Parliament, and we go in and turn in a petition. We have a petition that is available online called Stop the Manganese petition, which lay out our list of demands. And I would recommend everyone to go on that website to read it, called Stop the Manganese. Manganese is MAANGAMIZI. Stop the
And what does
manganese.
it mean, Brother Dulani?
Manganese means the intentional holocaust of chattel, colonial, and neo-colonial enslavement of African people. You know what I'm saying?
So
It's a
that
Swahili.
definitely needs to stop.
Yes. It's a
That
Swahili
definitely needs
term.
to stop.
Saying, and I know it's some people may use the word Mahafa to describe what happened to us, but Mahafa is a calamity that happened like one time, or it could be a train wreck, it could be,
Right.
anything. But with
This is
Manganese is a, but Manganese is intentional and continuous genocide against
It's
our
intended
people.
and prolonged.
Yes. So
Yeah.
that's why we incorporate Stop the Manganese. And the Stop the Manganese is a functional campaign in the UK that's still in function right now.
Good.
Now, I must say that in the last 10 years, we have been able to get in Parliament at the moment, there is a group called the All-Party Parliamentary Group on African Reparation that is a result of the campaign work, that we have a few MPs that is
So
part
you
of this
have
group
people in the
in
the
Parliament
parliament
right now,
lobbying.
lobbying
So
right now.
which is
You
which is
see,
an important
yes,
step.
yes.
Yes.
We people like Diane Abbott, Ben Bella, even
The
Jamie
political
Corbyn
arm
is
have
on the
to be
committee,
active.
and yes, and most of the black MPs them are part, except for Lamy. Lamy is not a part. Just want to put that out there. I don't know where my
Okay.
way from. But most of
Yeah.
the other woman them,
And
all of the
Lamy,
woman them is a part of it.
Lamy is
Actively.
the current
You know,
foreign
see,
minister for the UK.
yes, right. See, so he might try to preserve
Them
an image.
control immigration.
Yeah. 'Cause you see what happened now, see, and not a lot of people want to be affiliated with reparation. 'Cause reparation is a hot butter, hot bread. Nobody don't want to hold it.
Yeah.
You understand? So it look good for your career. See,
Yes.
so we have to be
Because
mind.
it's gonna be a legacy making or legacy breaking.
Right. So
Mm.
we got that. That was one of the big achievements. But we also got what do you call it now? Resolution pass. What do you call them in a local council where them pass
A bill.
yeah, we don't call it a bill. We have had three of them pass. We have one pass in the Lambeth Council. Them passed oh gosh, what they call them? It's not necessarily a bill, them have a name for it in the council. Well, them pass it there in Lambeth Council. They passed one in Tottenham, they passed one in that council as well.
I'm
And
sure
also
Brother Okabongo is happy to know that one was passed in Tottenham.
I don't care about Tottenham like that.
yeah,
Been in
yeah.
Tottenham Hotspur, but not Tottenham.
Yeah. And also one was passed a motion what they call it, motion.
Motion,
Sorry,
got you.
motion. Yes, motion was also passed in Bristol. And Bristol has gone far. Bristol has go to the motion go even further as to propose land and them thing they up there to people who are land figure build like a little city, deal reparative work. So them very far along with for them because so them have a black African um leader, mayor up there.
Okay.
See, yeah. So
Good.
them,
So
them
yeah.
well advanced in that.
So
Yes,
Things going on. Progress.
yeah.
yes,
Yes, sir. Things are
yes,
going on, man.
Yeah,
And one thing
yeah.
you said there in the parliament and thing,
yes, man.
so
In a
that is a
parliament,
good
man.
step because before
Yes.
it was just reasoning amongst one's
Yeah,
ones. You see?
yeah, man. Yeah, man. We have some big, some official people in the parliament there, man. It's a proper portfolio in the parliament right now.
Naturally,
See.
good
Even
energy.
though the
Good
progress
That's
energy.
the
is
thing.
slow, there is still progress being made.
Come
Yeah,
on, something
man.
not go on.
And
Something
and
not
and
go
I,
Yeah,
on.
and I,
man.
and I want to show you
Big
say
things are going on.
last year we convened the first annual reparation conference in this country, headed by the MP Ben Bella, where we invite people from all over the world. We met down there in the city there. Nice conference. All those things are available online. You can just type in the annual reparation conference, UK reparation
Mm-hmm.
conference in the
Great
UK.
energy, man. Very, very
Yeah, man.
informative.
Yeah.
Give
So
thanks,
our
man.
information we get
Mm.
today. Dada,
Yeah.
we want to start wrap up the time against us,
Yeah, me cite that. But before
Yeah.
we do that, me really want to, I just one point I think we kind of need to discuss as well. And
Right.
that is and I think Brother Dulani hinted at it earlier, where people today will want to say, they're not responsible for the atrocities that happened in
Hmm.
these times because they had nothing to do with it.
Yes.
And what I want to say to it is that, if that is the case, then just as how you don't wish to make reparative moves, then you should not accept the benefits of those choices because those weren't your choices. So you should not be the same way, or you're not willing to pay out the reparative justice, you
Mm-hmm.
should be equally unwilling to accept the benefits of those choices as they were not your choices. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Uh,
I would add to that, my lad, by
mm-hmm,
saying that we have heard that kind of argument
mm-hmm,
being brought forward, and
mm-hmm,
we respond by what you're saying about the benefits that they have inherited, the benefit, the spoils of our exploitation.
Mm-hmm.
mm-hmm.
The enslavement of African people was the most significant economic stimulus to Europeans and to white supremacy in the last 500
Globally.
years. It
Yes,
was
sir.
the
Globally.
Yeah.
globally,
Globally.
globally. You know what I'm
Globally.
Right
saying?
Maybe
across Europe.
ever, Brother Delani.
Yes,
Maybe
King.
ever. Maybe ever.
Ever in the
Mm-hmm.
history of mankind.
Mm-hmm.
Many of these countries have over 300 years of free labor.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's a big head start. If you get 300 years of free labor and
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
man.
resources at the same
Yeah,
time,
man.
and you're
Yeah,
not the
man.
number one
Hey,
countries in the world, something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Something wrong.
now I move the conversation to our next place, but when you look upon it, you see the United States of America are the country
Yeah.
that benefit the most from
More.
enslaving
Our,
because
yes.
you see, in the West, while things was like the sugar plantation was they might make a sugar and I bring it go whatever they might
Yes.
make, they might bring it go on this country, Everything
Yes.
in America, it build and stay, After they
Yes.
get independence, it build and stay. So slaves
Yes.
build America,
Yes. And
like
straight up.
everything,
Yes.
Yeah, man. So all
And
the money get to stay here, all the things that they make get to stay here,
mhm.
you know what I mean? And them export the excess and get money, so they
Yes.
make money off of
That is
it.
correct,
Yeah,
my
man.
man. And the
Yeah,
thing
man.
about it, in a part the U.S. Congress, there's a bill called HR 40, and
Mm-hmm.
all the bill called for, is just to study that. What you said a while ago. Study
Mm-hmm.
study the
The
role that
benefits.
the enslavement of African people play in the development of the U.S.
Significant, man.
They don't, and they are opposing just the very studying of the issue.
You
That's
can't
how
remember
afraid they
once
are.
them study the truth will come out.
Exactly. So
Once
what
them
are they
study it,
afraid
you
of?
can't avoid the truth.
Exactly. So what
But it's
is
not
the
it, but the evidence is there. So the
Right.
study
right?
is surfacing and the study not even in depth because it is
Yes.
evidential. Even in the
Right.
place
Mm-hmm.
you sit and call the White House, it is
Right.
evidential. Slaves
Mm-hmm.
Right.
working and building that very
Exactly.
foundation.
That is
So it is
Mm-hmm.
exactly
evidential
that.
knowledge. Yeah.
Naturally.
Yes. So on those terms, a lot need to be done. It's not a
True.
simple work.
True.
You know what I'm
True.
saying?
Yeah,
And
man.
the work continue. I must say though that the African Emancipation, the Reparation March Committee has disbanded this year, because a lot of people they've been serving for over 10 years, and it has been turned over to a new set of young leadership to continue that process.
Which
So it
is
will be
great.
continuing
Nice,
under some
nice,
new leadership.
nice,
Which
nice,
is
So
great. Which is
nice.
great.
That is
it's been
important.
transitioned over.
Yeah, you
And
call
New
it
blood,
you call it
new
a passing of
minds.
the baton.
yes, so it's been
Yes,
the
yes.
torch, so it
Mm,
just passed to
yeah.
some young
Yes, sir.
leadership
Great
now
energy.
to continue
And
continue on that line.
the second point we want to really touch on again before we
Yes.
wrap up, that I think out of the discussion is something, and is the establishment of trusts. Like
Hmm.
when we talk about the compensation and all of these things, it's
Hmm.
not just to do it through, oh, we just go give people these things, but to do it through trust. That means to say
Mm-hmm.
these funds, these resources are secured for generations, and it's not just something that one person think like, oh,
Right.
me not busy about my youth. Them are no,
Hmm.
we have secured them in trust.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man.
Yes. Definitely,
All
my
right.
brother.
That is it,
So
man.
yes, man, great reasoning, great energy, brother Dulani. It was a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful experience, and we really full joy the reasoning. I really welcome the vast wealth of information and knowledge that you have brought to us today on the Trad class. And I hope that we will see future collaborative efforts. I want to remind them about Brother Delani's YouTube page as well, and Brother Delani's Clear Thinking with Brother Delani on TikTok. Also remember to like, share, and subscribe to the Perfect Balance Chart class. Leave your comments. Hit the notification bell so whenever we upload a video, you'll be notified immediately. And this has been another wonderful episode of the Perfect Balance Chart class. Thank you, Brother Delani. Thank you, Brother Okavango. Thank you, Brother Bingi.
Give thanks for
Yaga,
life.
aka Teacher Ma'at. I am your
Yeah, man.
Rasdada, yours truly. Give thanks and praise.
Thank
Yeah,
you, my
man.
brother.
Blessings.
It's been
Give
an honor.
thanks.